Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show will begin in 10 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show will begin in 5 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show will begin in 2 minutes.
Hello and good evening, everybody. If you wouldn't mind, come on in and please take your seats. Thank you very much, and welcome to Red Rock Resort. My name is Brian Lindsay. I'm the general manager here of Red Rock, and I would like to welcome each and every one of you here for this incredible event tonight. You know, it was kind of awkward. I was taking a quick whip through the silent auction over there, and I actually bid on an incredible jersey that Mike Ditka wore for the Dallas Cowboys, and it was a little bit awkward when you outbid Mike Ditka on his own jersey. So, Mike, if I end up winning that, don't worry, I'll set you up, buddy. But I appreciate everybody coming out. Obviously, this is an incredible weekend for us here at Red Rock. We love to celebrate veterans, and we love to celebrate warriors. And one of the most incredible things that we get to do is live in a country where everyone is free. So if you don't mind, I'd like to take about 10 seconds and honor all of our veterans and our warriors who fought for this country, because every one of us know that freedom is not free. So if you don't mind, please, for 10 seconds, just please bow your heads in honor of all of the warriors that fought for us on Memorial Day weekend. Thank you very much. My grandfather, George Lindsay, was in the Army, and to see photos and memories of him serving this country and creating an opportunity for all of us to not only advance our families and our careers, but to spend time with each other and to celebrate accomplishments is one of the most incredible things that each and every one of us get to do. I'm in an incredibly lucky position here to work for two gentlemen, Frank and Lorenzo Fertitta, that not only are visionaries, but they're leaders not only in the community of Las Vegas, but around the world. Two men that bought an organization that was fledgling and barely surviving called the Ultimate Fighting Championship. And they had a vision of taking that organization to something that had never been done before. And to be on the curtails and the fringes of that organization and to watch what they did with a $2 million investment and spending hundreds of millions of dollars of their own money to create an entire industry is absolutely incredible. And to think about the UFC has only been around for around 20 years. But when I think about the NFL, for decade after decade after decade of incredible athletes that we all got to watch when we were kids, we all got to sit in front of our TVs, and if we were lucky enough to be able to afford to go to a game, we got to go to a game. And as a kid, I grew up in Michigan, but I was always a Steelers fan. I had a Mean Joe Green jersey that I wore until it literally fell apart. And I know Mr. Green is here this evening, and I had the pleasure of taking a photo with him last night and shaking his hand. So thank you very much, Mr. Green, for all your efforts and everything you've done for the sport of football. It was a little bit awkward when I shook his hand. It felt like I was shaking a 3-year-old's hand because his hand was like 7 times larger than mine. But it was absolutely an incredible honor to see you here once again. So thank you, Mr. Green, for joining us. I have to share one more thing. I'm a very, very proud owner of Las Vegas Raiders season tickets. And if there's any precedent that's being set right now with the Las Vegas Golden Knights, Mr. Davis and Mr. Bodine, you have a little bit of work cut out for you. I'm just happy to say, but Monday night we're going to celebrate the launch of the Stanley Cup and the magical feeling that's been created in this city as a result of the Las Vegas Golden Knights is absolutely incredible. The event we had here on October 1st is something that none of us ever want to remember, but the unique thing about what's happened in this city since that event is that everybody has come together, and the Las Vegas Golden Knights have been the glue that kept every one of us together. But the biggest thing on the forefront of this entire valley is the National Football League coming to Las Vegas. There is nothing more talked about in our meetings. There's nothing more talked about in our strategy sessions. This city is strategizing and doing everything we can to bring this team to Las Vegas with class and dignity and respect, and to do nothing that the NFL has ever done before. You can imagine what's going to happen in Las Vegas when the Raiders come to us. So we are so glad to have you, so glad to have the leadership team from the Raiders here tonight. So thank you very much for coming. Now, the next gentleman I get the pleasure to introduce is none other than JT the Brick. Some of you may know. That's right. Some of you may know. He's been around the Raiders for, I don't know, around 20 years or so. Nationally syndicated sports show on Fox Radio nationwide. And there is no greater pleasure to introduce our MC for the evening, Mr. JT the Brick.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be back here tonight on behalf of the Gridiron Greats Assistance Fund and the After the Impact Fund. Gridiron Greats is the organization that not only cares about the great legacy of the men and women who we will honor tonight, but also the health and well-being of all former players. The After the Impact Fund is our sister charity that facilitates comprehensive treatment to military veterans and professional athletes while supporting their families. And if you can please keep in mind tonight, proceeds from this evening are going both to the Gridiron Greats Assistance Fund and the After the Impact Fund. Nights like tonight make a huge difference in the amount of families that we can help going forward. Also tonight, we are live streaming all over the globe at gridirongreats.org. And if you take a picture tonight with a legend or any of your friends in the room, please hashtag Ditka, HOF. You see the pictures around the building tonight, around Red Rock, hashtag Ditka, HOF. And Coach Ditka, it's an honor to be with you and your family here tonight. Thanks for everything that you do for everyone here. At this time, it's an honor to welcome the Executive Director of Gridiron Greats and the After the Impact Fund. This woman works passionately year-round, not only for this event, but everything that surrounds these great organizations. Ladies and gentlemen, Shannon Jordan.
JT so much. I can't believe we've been doing this now for 5 years. We also have a very special guest tonight. Is JT's dad is here tonight celebrating his 80th birthday. So we're so excited to have you here. Your son, you raised a wonderful son, and your daughter-in-law, Julie, we just love her, and we appreciate all the support that you give us, JT. I want to thank Brian Lindsay, James LaFamme, and DM Peck for having us here at the Red Rock. I mean, you're not just partners, you guys are friends, you're invested. Last year, Brian, I remember you didn't know too much about us, and look at Brian now and all that we're doing together. We actually launched that we're going to support and help our fighters here with our After the Impact charity. So thank you, Red Rock, and your whole team for rolling out the red carpet for us. As JT mentioned, both charities, Gridiron Greats and After the Impact Fund, will be the beneficiaries of tonight. And it's so important for us to honor the men and women that not are only doing things, surrounding football. It's what they've done throughout their lives off the field and in the community. So it's an honor to pay tribute to all of you here tonight. To my hero, Sylvia Mackey. This woman has changed thousands and thousands of lives. I'm not joking when I say that. And there's a few women here that have received the award. Liz Nicholson, Chie Smith, Shanda Brigance, who couldn't be here. And tonight, to have Dr. Ann McKee here, it is our honor. We're so excited to celebrate you tonight, Dr. McKee. You're going to see incredible videos tonight of our honorees. I want to thank Michael Nays and Scott Dixon from our friends in Chicago at Periscope. These vignettes look like we're doing the ESPYs and zero budget. They're incredible. So thank you, Michael Nays and Periscope, for all you've done for us. It's incredible. We also are going to pay tribute to someone that we all love very much, David Humm, who we lost a couple months ago. Courtney and Tommy, I know he's in heaven looking down on both of you. Courtney, you were his world. He made an impact on us. He was one of the first players that Karen and I actually helped, and from the minute we talked to him, he was family to us. So we all miss him very, very much, but I know he's smiling down on you. Tonight is the biggest fundraiser we have of the year, and literally we cannot project out 2 years, 3 years. This will be 6 months for us. So thank you so much for all of your support, for everyone that's here tonight, because it literally, how much we raise is how many people that we can help and how many families we can help. To date, we've given upwards of $4 million to players and their families with financial assistance. We've touched more than 2,200 lives with various types of assistance and services, things that you wouldn't see on paper. It's negotiating medical bills. We have incredible medical and marketing partners that donate their time and give things pro bono. We are just so lucky that people support the work that we do. We have Vinnie Hudson and Dr. Candelora, who oversee our medical board and seek out other medical partners to make sure that these medical partners actually care about our people and they don't just want an autograph or they want to be associated. We want people that care. So Dr. Candelora and Vinnie, thank you so much for all you do for us from the medical perspective. To our board of directors on Gridiron Greats, Coach Dicka, Mark Bedane, Matt Burke, Kyle Turley, and Mike Golick. Kyle, you've been there from the beginning. I can't say enough about this guy. We adore you. Thank you for speaking out. Kyle is not shy, and he speaks the truth. And I think a lot of more people should be a little bit more like Kyle Turley, and I think we all need to educate ourselves a little bit more about what's happening in this country with the opioid crisis and the CBD oils that Kyle and his team are producing. I mean, we're not talking about THC. I think we really need to look at this. A lot of you learned that this morning, and I just think if you haven't seen it, please watch him with Dr. Sanjay Gupta, and let's learn a little bit more about it. But it is changing and saving lives. So thank you, Kyle. Matt Burke, sometimes I dial his phone, I'm like, there's one day he's going to be like, oh my God, she's calling again. He serves on both boards. Matt, you've been my rock through a lot of transition and a lot of insane times, ups and downs, but you've always had our back. You've always been committed. You're always coming up with new ideas, and you're truly just a special person. So Matt, thank you so much. It was right after this moment last year that Mark Bedane pulled me aside, and I had met his beautiful daughter, Allie, and he just said, I think I want to get more involved. How do I get on your board? And I go, my board? Like, board of directors? I was so blown away and touched by that, and ever since, it's been Mark's mission to educate other teams about the work that we're doing, and you are a game changer for us. You really, really are. He can tell you a little bit more later, but his goal was to have his goal eventually is to have all 32 teams supporting all the work that we do. But thank you so much. To Mr. Davis, Cheryl Nichols, Mark again, and just Raider Nation, you guys have set the bar so high. And I know that there are other teams here, but you do treat your alumni like family. You do not let them down. And I hope that other teams actually see what you're doing and step up, because we need the help. To our board of directors at After the Impact Fund, I know it's to add on another charity. It was so important for us to make sure that our military veterans and other professional athletes are getting the support they need. And it's so difficult to help people. It's so frustrating that it takes so much to get people help. So we have incredible board members, Brigadier General retired Rich Gross, former Green Beret Art Pugh, Coach Reeves, who cannot be here tonight. Coach Dicka is on our board for that too. But in a short period of time of just launching, we've put 120 military veterans and professional athletes in treatment. And that's a lot. It's not cheap. Thanks to Eric Hipple and Randy Grimes, who have dedicated their lives to making sure that people get behavioral therapy and making sure people get addiction, help with addiction. And you two shared your soul this morning. I know everyone felt it. We did a symposium this morning, but without these two men going out there to find the resources, find the help, we're truly going to change a ton of lives together. So thank you, men, so much. One of the things I'm most proud about from After the Impact is launching our Family Impact Forum. It's been so important to me that the families are addressed. The families are pushed to the side. No one is talking about the families. It's the wife of, or the mother of, or the daughter of, and that's not what's happening. They're the ones calling. They're the ones seeking the resources and support. So we have a password-protected women's forum for mothers, daughters, wives, so of military veterans and all pro athletes. It's going there. We've aggregated all the resources in one place where you can find out your benefits and your resources, but it's more than that. It's one-on-ones and peer support. We're inclusive. We're not judgmental. We want to collaborate. We want to share our resources with others. I want to thank Sam Pyle and Liz Nicholson for leading that group of women and keeping us on track on a daily basis. And then Liz, Sam, Trisha Bell, Sylvia Mackey, Janet McCoy, Irene, Gottlieb Old, Allison, Chie, Stacy Turley, Mary Brooks and Pam, who are not here, they are on weekly calls with us. They're going through their own things, and they're taking the time to say, how can we make this better? And they're struggling too, and they're there to help everyone. So ladies, I cannot thank you enough. It's really what keeps us going. To our sponsors, we couldn't do this without you. Red Rock, Raiders, Sukup, Hourglass Wealth Management, Southern Glazers, to Neuro XPF, Shango, Clark Pharmaceuticals, Rudolph Foods, Curry Aviation, Pepsi, Attorneys Tax Relief, CDI Printing, By Design, and to everyone who purchased a table ticket and program. It's important we say this and recognize all of you. I'm sorry to go so long. To Chris Borland, I can't thank you enough for doing all these fundraisers. He just did a race with his two brothers who serve. We're sending him out again into the middle of the wild, and he's raising awareness for us. So Chris, thank you. To Don and Ryan Horn, Lemon Jackie Barney, Joe and Charlotte Green, Brett and Lisa Petersmark, George and Mary Sue Coons, Frank and Cheryl Hawkins. You buy a table every year, you support us every year, and we can't thank you enough. To Tommy White and Local 872. You're not as loud as you were last year. The minute we stepped down in Vegas, I mean, they've picked up all of our honorees. They've given us printers. They do everything. I can't thank you boys enough. We love you. There's Tommy. You've been a godsend to us. To Doug and Christy Walls. Doug and Christy, if you can just stand. Doug and Christy raised a ton of money for us in a golf outing this year in Michigan. There they are. For both After the Impact and Gridiron Greats, and we thank you so much. You put so much hard work in it, and it lasted us a good 6 months of support, so thank you. To Mike Lucci. Where's Mike? There he is. He and Jim Covert and Joe Birch just raised $100,000 for us right before Super Bowl. He's my foxhole partner. Everyone needs a Mike Lucci in his life, and thank you for you guys for sharing him with us. But Mike, thank you. You know how much you mean to us. And then to my dream team, that all of this just doesn't happen. Karen Wright, Colleen Cates, Tamara Allen, Lori DeMacos, Dr. Kafori, Ryan Dad, Sam Bono, and Paige DeMacos. It's because of you that all of this happens and that we thrive because of it. And I do want to single out Karen Wright. She's in the back with us there. She's the voice. She's the one doing all the work with facilitating care. She's an angel. She's my rock. She deserves to be recognized. She doesn't want to be recognized, but she is an angel. To my husband, Brian, for putting up with me, and Mark Lewis and Dawn and EC and all of our volunteers that make tonight work. But last but certainly not least, we have very special guests. Diana Dicka's here. She is, if you haven't met her, you have to go introduce yourself. She calls and checks on me. I love and adore you, Diana. I'm so glad you're here. And the boys, I'm so glad you're here to see what your dad has built. Without Coach, we would not be helping thousands of people. Mike, if you don't mind coming up and just saying a few words, but we love and adore you, and you've put this organization on your back, and we just all can't thank you enough.
Thank you. I want to clarify one thing. This is not Mike Ditka's Gridiron Grace. This is your Gridiron Grace. We started a long time ago. We had an idea. We wanted to help some people. And why we had that idea is because the league wasn't helping them. And the teams that they had played for weren't helping them. There are some teams in the league who take care of their former players very well, the Raiders probably being the most that I can think of. But I go back with this one guy I'm sitting with here to 1955, Mike, when we played against each other in football at Ambridge High School. Then we both went to the University of Pittsburgh together, Mike Lucci. And he's a great, great friend. He's a great guy, great family man. And he's what the NFL is all about. All you guys are. Howie Long, come on. This is the real deal. I mean, you guys are special. And I know, listen, football doesn't owe us any damn thing. We owe everything we have to the game of football. And if I could put one thing across to the young players, appreciate it. Be thankful that you have the God-given talent to play the greatest game in the world. And take something from it, not only money, but take the respect of the other players by your actions on and off the field. I think those things are very, very important. I'm going to, the guys going, and everybody, Jonathan Ogden, great football player, Doug Plank, God. Doug looks like he could play right now. I mean, he's all muscle. Dr. Ann McKee, I don't know Ann, but she's getting the Sylvia Mackey Award, and I think that's special. Let's see if I get these. I wrote this down. Peter Dalla Riva, I got that one. David Humm, Marv Levy, what a great, great man. I mean, a special person. Love Marv Levy. I know they're giving the award in his name, and it's so welcome. Herschel Walker, boy. Now there's a guy who could play today, right now. Ed White, great Minnesota Viking. And Howie Long, who is I look at Howie, and he played the game. What you see is what you got. You got everything he had all the time. Now, if you could handle it, good for you. If you couldn't, you were going to get your ass whipped. That's just the way it was. But I want to congratulate those guys. And let me tell you, this is your Gridiron Greats Hall of Fame. I wish people cared a little bit more. Sometimes they don't. But I know that you people who are being inducted into our Hall of Fame, you're never going to be forgotten. I mean, what you contributed, and I know you don't need it. Hell, nobody needs it. And we're old men. But every once in a while, it's nice to think, you saw me coming up those stairs. Hell, I used to be able to jump up those stairs. I could fall down them. But thank you so much, and God bless you.
For our invocation tonight, we bring up a man who's been an advocate for the Gridiron Greats since its inception. He and his wife, Jackie, are huge supporters of ours. Let's welcome one of the all-time greats, Hall of Fame defensive back, the great Lem Barney, to the stage.
Thank you very much. Thank you so very much. Let us bow our heads for a moment of prayer and thanks. Good evening to all. May we bow our heads for grace. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you before an afternoon this evening. We give you thanks, Father. We thank you for the vision you've placed in Mike Ditka's heart to help those in need of assistance. Thank you, Lord, for him passing the baton to Shannon Jordan, along with Karen and Mark, to continue to help this great event, the premier event of the year, while making an impact. Blessed are thou, Lord of all creation. Through your goodness, Lord, we have this gift to our use, the fruits of your bounty and the work of human hands. As they become part of our substance, may they give you honor and glory at all times. We thank you, Father, for your loving provisions. We thank you, Father, for this food, and we ask, O Lord, that you will bless it. May we never forget those who want and need but do not have. May our eyes and our hearts be alert and our hands be open to give from the abundance you have given us. For health and food, for love and friends, for everything that's goodness sends from Father into heaven. We thank you, Lord, for the food in a world where many walk in hunger, for faith in a world where many walk in fear, for friends in a world where many walk alone. We give thanks to you, Father, Lord God Almighty. God is great and God is good. Father, let us thank him right now for the food that we're about to receive and put on the presence of our tables, Lord, and be here and everywhere adorable unto you. We give thanks to you, Father, and say, amen. 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 Let's give the Lord a hand praise.
Ladies and gentlemen, for our national anthem tonight, I welcome a former TV star entrepreneur. He's the founder of Red Chapter Clothing and the lead singer of Elvis Monroe. He is a survivor of the Route 91 festival. He saved the lives of several women, 11, by bringing them into a refrigerator during the shooting for shelter. One of those women that he saved is his girlfriend, Nicole, who is here with us tonight. Will you please rise for the anthem and welcome Brian Hopkins.
say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed by the last light's glass gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, what so proudly we hail as the last light's glass gleaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, for our dinner entertainment tonight, a Vegas original, one of the great voices in all of Las Vegas, Jonathan Carant.
All of me, why not take all of me? Can't you see I'm no good without you? Take my lips, I wanna lose them. Get a piece of these arms, I will never use them. Your goodbye left me with eyes that cry. How can I get along without you? You know you have got the part that once was my heart, so why not take all of me? All of me, why not take all of me? Can't you see I'm no good without you? Take my lips, I wanna lose them. Get a piece of these arms, I will never use them. Your goodbye left me with eyes that cry. How can I get on, dear, without you? You know you have got the part that used to be my heart, so why not take all of me? Oh, all of me, come on and get all of me. Can't you see I'm no good without you? Take my lips, I wanna lose them. Get a piece of these arms, I will never use them. Your goodbye left me with eyes that cry. How can I get along, dear, without you? You know you have got the part that used to be my heart, so why not take all of me? Why not take all of me? Somewhere beyond the sea, somewhere waiting for me. My lover stands on golden sands and watches the ships that go sailing somewhere beyond the sea. She's there just waiting for me. If I could fly like birds on high, then straight to her arms I go sailing. It's far beyond a star, it's near beyond the moon. I know beyond a doubt my heart will lead me there soon. We'll meet beyond the shore and we'll kiss just like before. Happy we'll be beyond the sea, and never again I'll go sailing. It's far beyond the star and it's near beyond the moon. I know beyond a doubt my heart will lead me there soon. We'll meet, I know we will meet beyond the shore and we'll kiss just like before. Happy we'll be beyond the sea, and never again I'll go sailing. Bye-bye sailing, so long sailing, no more sailing. Do me wrong, do me right, tell me lies, but hold me tight, and save your goodbyes for the morning light. But don't let me be lonely tonight. You say goodbye and I say hello, hello baby. Sure it's good to see you, but it's time to go. Don't say yes and please don't say no. I don't want to be lonely tonight. Go away then damn you, go on, do as you please. You ain't gonna see me getting down on my knees. 'Cause I'm undecided and your heart has been divided. You've been turning my world upside down. So do me wrong, do me right, oh baby. Tell me lies, but won't you hold me tight and save your goodbyes for the morning light. But don't let me be lonely tonight. Save your goodbyes for the morning light, but don't let me be lonely tonight. Go away then damn you, go on, do as you please. You ain't gonna see me getting down on my knees. 'Cause I'm undecided and your heart has been divided. You've been turning my world upside down. So do me wrong, do me right, right now baby. Tell me lies, but hold me tight and save your goodbyes for the morning light. But don't let me be lonely tonight. Save your goodbyes for the morning light, but don't let me be lonely tonight. Well, no, I don't want to be lonely tonight. Please don't let me be lonely tonight. Thank you. Thank you very much. Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, won't you hold my hand? In other words, darling, please kiss me and fill my heart with song that I may sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, won't you hold my hand? In other words, darling, please, please kiss me. And fill my heart with song that I may sing forevermore. Well, you are all I long for, I worship and adore. In other words, darling, please be true. In other words, I love you. Thank you. It had to be you. It had to be you. I wandered along and finally found somebody who could make me feel blue, could make me feel true, and even be glad just to be sad, thinking of you. Some others I've seen might never be me, might never be cross or try to be boss, but they would not do, for nobody else gave me a thrill. With all your faults, I'm loving you still. It had to be you, wonderful you, just had to be you. And even be glad just to be sad, thinking of you. Some others I've seen might never be mean, might never be cross or try to be boss, but they would not do. For nobody else gave me a thrill. With all your faults, I love you still. It had to be you, wonderful you, just had to be you. Thank you. She gets too hungry for dinner at 8. She adores the theater, but never goes late. And she'd never bother with the people she hates. That's why the lady is a tramp. She'll have no crap games with sharpies or frauds. She won't go to Harlem in Lincolns or Fords. She won't dish the dirt with the rest of those girls. That is why the lady is a tramp. She likes the free, fresh wind in her hair, life without care. She is broke, but it's okay. It's California, it's so smoggy and damp. That's why the lady is a tramp. She gets too hungry for dinner at 8. She adores the theater but never goes late. She would never bother with the people that she hates. That's why the lady is a tramp. She'll have no crap games with sharpies or frauds. Won't go to Harlem in Lincolns or Fords. She won't dish the dirt with the rest of those broads. That is why the lady is a tramp. She likes the free, fresh wind in her hair, life without care. Well, she's flat, that's that. Hates California, it's so smoggy and damp. That's why the lady, that's why this lady, that's why this chick is a champ. Thank you very much. On a clear day, rise and look around you, and you'll see who you are. On a clear day, how it will astound you that the glow of your being outshines every star you'll feel part of. Every mountain, sea, and shore you can hear from far or near, a world you never ever heard before. And on a clear day, on that clear day, you can see forever and evermore. On a clear day, rise and look around you, and you'll see who you are. On a clear day, how it will astound you that the glow of your being outshines every star you'll feel part of, every mountain, sea, and shore. You're gonna hear from far or near a world you never, never, ever, never heard before. And on a clear day, on that clear day, you can see forever and ever more. On a clear day. It's very clear our love is here to stay, not for a year, but ever and a day. The radio and the telephone and the movies that we know may just be passing fancies, and in time may go. But oh my dear, our love is here to stay. Forever we're going a long, long way. In time the Rockies may crumble, Gibraltar may tumble, they're only made of clay. But I know that our love is here to stay. It is very, very clear our love is here to stay, not for a year, but ever and a day. The radio and the telephone and the movies that we know may just be passing fancies, and in time may go. But oh my dear, our love is here to stay. Forever we're going a long way. In time the Rockies may crumble, Gibraltar may tumble, they are only made of clay. But I know our love is here to stay. It is so very clear our love is here to stay, not for a year, but ever and a day. The radio and the telephone and the movies that we know may just be passing fancies, and in time may go. But oh my dear, our love is here to stay. Forever we're going a long, long way. In time the Rockies may crumble, Gibraltar may tumble, they're only made of clay. But I know our love is here to stay. cigarette holder that wigs me over her shoulder. I know she digs me out catting that satin dog. Baby, shall we go out skipping? Careful, amigo, you may be flipping. Speaks Latin, that satin dog. She's nobody's fool, so I'm playing it cool as can be. I will give it a try, but I ain't for no girl catching me. Switcheroo, telephone number. Well, you know I'm doing my rumba with you know, and catting that satin dog. She's nobody's fool, so I'm playing it cool as can be. Out catting that satin dog. Baby, shall we go out skipping? Careful, amigo, you may be flipping. Speaks Latin, that satin dog. She's nobody's fool, so I'm playing it cool as can be. I will give it a try, but I ain't for no girl catching me. Switcheroo, telephone number. Well, you know I'm doing my rumble, if you know I'm catting that satin dog. I'm catting that satin dog. I'm catting that satin dog. Hey. Thank you. The way you hold your knife, the way you sip your tea, the way you changed my life. Oh no, they can't take that away from me. The way your smile just beams, the way you sing off key, the way you haunt my dreams. No, they can't take that away from me. We may never meet again on that bumpy road to love. Still, I'll always keep the memory of the way you hold your knife, the way we danced till 3, the way you changed my life. Oh no, they can't take that away from me. No, they can't take that away from me. We may never ever meet again on that bumpy road to love. Still, I'll always keep the memory of the way you hold your knife, the way we danced till 3, the way you changed my life. Oh no, they can't take that away from me. No, they can't take that away from me. Someday, when I'm awfully low and the world is cold, I will feel a glow just thinking of you and the way you look tonight. Oh, but you're lovely, with your smile so warm and your cheeks so soft. There is nothing for me but to love you, just the way you look tonight. With each word, your tenderness grows, and it's tearing my fears apart. And that laugh that wrinkles up your nose, it touches my foolish heart. Oh, lovely, please don't you ever change. Keep that breathless charm. Oh, won't you please arrange it, 'cause I love you just the way you look tonight. Lovely, don't you ever change. Keep that breathless charm. Won't you please arrange it, 'cause I love you just the way you look, just the way you look, just the way you look tonight. Just the way you look tonight. Thank you very much. Those fingers in my hair, that sly come hither stare, that strips my conscience bare, it's witchcraft. And I've got no defense for it, the heat is too intense for it. What good would common sense for it do? 'Cause it's witchcraft, that wicked witchcraft. And although I know it's strictly taboo, when you arouse the need in me, my heart says yes indeed in me. Proceed with what you're leading me to. It's such an ancient pitch, but one I'd never switch, for there's no nicer witch than you. Yes, it's witchcraft. And although I know it's strictly taboo, when you arouse the need in me, my heart says yes, indeed, in me. Proceed with what you're leading me to. It is such an ancient pitch, but one that I'd never switch, for there's no nicer witch than you, than you, than you. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show will begin in 5 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show will begin in 2 minutes.
Welcome back, everyone. If I can have everyone's attention, please. We're about to begin our induction ceremony. But first, I'd like to wish Duke Sims an early happy birthday. He's been with us for years. Duke, please stand up so we can acknowledge you. All right, my goal is to keep this moving at a brisk pace so everybody can enjoy the rest of their night in fabulous Las Vegas. Ladies and gentlemen, we begin our inductions tonight with one of the most dominant and highly decorated offensive linemen of all time. This is Jonathan Ogden.
Jonathan Ogden had an illustrious career with the Baltimore Ravens. He had an equally impactful career off the field working with inner-city school athletes. Born in Washington, D.C., Ogden began his football career at St. Albans, where he was an All-American in both football and track. UCLA became his college of choice when the Bruins football coaches allowed him to also participate in track and field. As a sophomore, Ogden helped UCLA get to the 1993 Pac-10 Championship and Rose Bowl. He later won the NCAA Men's Championship in the shot put with a personal best of 19.42 meters. Ogden had an outstanding career with the Bruins, and in 1995 he received the Outland Trophy and the Morris Trophy, and was a unanimous first-team All-American. Ogden's jersey has been retired, making him only the 8th player in UCLA history to receive that honor. He was inducted into the UCLA Hall of Fame in 2006 and was enshrined in the College Football Hall of Fame in 2012. Ogden was selected by the Baltimore Ravens in the first round of the 1996 NFL Draft, the first ever draft pick made by the Ravens. He played his entire career, 12 seasons, for the Baltimore Ravens. Among his many accomplishments as a member of the Ravens organization, Ogden was an 11-time Pro Bowl selection and received All-Pro honors 6 times.
Jonathan Ogden was so natural, so fluid. He just made everything look easy.
Ogden won a Super Bowl with the Ravens and is enshrined in the Baltimore Ravens Ring of Honor. He was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2013. The Jonathan Ogden Foundation was established in 1996 to assist young people in disadvantaged communities and to help them develop self-esteem through athletics and education. Since its inception, the positive impact of the program has been remarkable, with grades, SAT scores, and graduation rates rising across the board.
J.O., you're one of the greatest players to ever play in the National Football League, and you've always been a pillar in the community. And I think that's your legacy. You've always been willing to help out anyone, anytime, anywhere. So you're very deserving, but I want to say congratulations to you on your induction into the Gridiron Greats Hall of Fame. Well done.
Continuing to search for new paths to empower others, Jonathan, his wife Kemba, and their 2 children, Jaden and Maya, reside in Las Vegas.
The Gridiron Greats are proud to induct Jonathan Ogden into their Hall of Fame.
Thank you, JD. That was great. Wow, that was a lot of stuff. I don't even think about all those things. I'm an offensive lineman. We don't think about ourselves. We don't talk about ourselves. But that was really nice. Coach Ditka, thank you very much for doing such a great job in establishing this organization to help out veterans and former players. I mean, it's a lot of good things that you're doing. And I want to thank all you guys for coming out here today, because without the support that you guys give to Coach and everyone here, the things that they try to get accomplished couldn't be done. So thank you very much, and let's just keep moving and enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you.
Next, we have one of Coach Ditka's hardest working and most skilled players he has ever coached. This is Doug Plank.
Doug attended Ohio State University, winning 3 Big Ten titles and playing in 3 consecutive Rose Bowls under legendary coach Woody Hayes. In 1975, Plank was drafted by the Chicago Bears in the 12th round. He spent his entire 8-year NFL playing career with the Bears. Plank was the first Bears rookie to lead the team in tackles and was a favorite of Bears defensive coordinator Buddy Ryan for his hard-hitting and aggressive style. During his playing days, he was known for his ferocious hits, and the famed Bears 46 defense was named after Plank's uniform number. In 2001, Plank began his coaching career in the Arena Football League, was Coach of the Year in 2005 and 2007, and won more games than any other coach in the AFL. In 2008, Plank moved on to coaching in the NFL. There he served as assistant to the Atlanta Falcons staff for 1 year, and then to the New York Jets, where he was the assistant defensive backfield coach under Rex Ryan, son of his former defensive coordinator, Buddy Ryan. The Jets' defense that year led the NFL in fewest yards allowed, fewest points allowed, and also fewest touchdown passes allowed. Plank moved on to college coaching in 2010 as a program assistant with the Ohio State Buckeyes, and earned a share of the Big Ten title with an 11-1 record and a win in the Sugar Bowl.
I'm glad you asked me about Doug Plank. He was one of the best football players I ever had, tough as nails. And I know he's being inducted into the Gridiron Greats Hall of Fame. I just want to congratulate you, Doug. Say it's a long time coming, and you're most deserving of it. You were one hell of a football player.
After football, Plank became a franchisee of Burger King Corporation and operated 20 restaurants in 3 different states. Plank now lives in Scottsdale with his wife Nancy. They have 2 children, Michael and Andrea, and 2 grandchildren.
The Gridiron Greats are proud to induct Doug Plank into their Hall of Fame. Doug?
Thank you. I just can't believe that I'm here. I'll tell you one thing this proves. If I can do this, you can do it. My career was really nothing more than being in a position to try to tackle obstacles. I feel humbled by the other players that are here and how great they were in college and in the pros, and the athletic skill and ability that they had. It's just very, very humbling. You know, one thing I wanted to talk about, and it was with regard to careers. You know, it showed up there. I'm on this life mission to try to do as many things as I possibly can before I leave the planet. You can see I've already started. I've got some other franchises planned that are going to take place here soon in the next couple months. But it's one of those things that I think we all feel like we've got responsibilities to do. You know, there's one thing I loved about football, It was everything. You could be a player, you could be a coach, you could be a broadcaster. When I was a player, if things were not going very well, it was the coach's fault. Let me talk one thing about Coach Ditka. I was with the Bears for 8 years, and Coach Ditka was hired by the Bears. And he sat everybody down in a room. And you know what? If you're a leader and you're leading men, you got to tell them where you're going. He's the first coach I ever heard mention Super Bowl. Now, all the players knew that we could get 2 free Super Bowl tickets at the end of the year. But that's as close as we were ever going to get to the Super Bowl. And I have to give all the credit to Coach Ditka because he came in with a fury and delivered a message that really went right through your heart after he was done. So once again, I thank him for that. And as I said, you know, to be able to be a coach, coach is so frustrating. You know, those coaches, just like they do here with the Raiders, they're in offices and rooms for many, many hours. Many of the coaches sleep overnight, which I also did with some of these organizations. Coaches are underappreciated for the work and effort they give. I mean, it's amazing. And you got some really knucklehead players. Guys that you could tell 100 times, and they're still going to make the mistakes. So I can't say I'm not coaching right now because you know what? I couldn't do it anymore. I mean, it was just demanding my life. And in broadcasting is so easy. You just blame everybody. The players, the coaches, the cheerleaders, you know, the fans. They had a bad bus ride to the stadium. It didn't matter. So really, it's kind of funny because, you know, there's so many different things and directions you can go in football. My first day in college was not very lucky. It mentioned on the video I went to Ohio State. That was a huge mistake because I was just a young guy. I never lifted any weights. It was a mistake because these were men. They were married. They had kids. They had savings plans already for their young kids to go to college. Like the investment program we saw yesterday, these guys were already over top of that. And I came into something that was way beyond me. I hadn't lifted weights. I hadn't prepared for what was going to take place. And, you know, I'm thankful I went to Ohio State because it really put me in a situation where I learned a lot. But I got hurt the first day. And I tore a ligament. Think about this. You're not even 1 hour at a place, and you're hurt already. I tore my ACL and meniscus cartilage. There was somebody up earlier that said, injuries in football are a sign of weakness. That's exactly right. You can't believe how tough it was after you're injured after 1 hour of being there on AstroTurf. And you know what it is? And you can't share your problem with anybody because 90% of the people don't care and the other 10% are glad it happened to you instead of them. So after college, I was very fortunate because, you know, I was a backup player at Ohio State. Not many people know that. My senior year, halfway through the year, we played Northwestern in Chicago. The first play of the game, the guy in front of me got injured, and I played the game of my life. I was getting interceptions, fumble recovers, forcing fumbles, and I didn't know it, but there was a Chicago Bears scout at the game. I got drafted in the 12th round. Now, most of you guys know, hey, the 12th round, you still got all kind of problems, right? You're going to go to camp, and there's 11 guys in front of you, and also free agents. So you got to be a maniac. Well, I was a kickoff guy at Ohio State, so I treated every play like it was a maniac. It said I led the team in tackles. That was not very fair to say that because there were 10 guys in front of me, and without their help, letting all those guys through, I could not have done it by myself. Which brings me up to the Chicago Bears. I get drafted based on that Northwestern game. I get drafted by the Bears in the 12th round. I got another break. My rookie year, the starting free safety got injured. By the end of training camp, I am the starting free safety for the Chicago Bears. I couldn't even start at Ohio State. Now I'm starting for the Chicago Bears. My claim to fame is the 46 defense. I wore number 46. Buddy Ryan never called anybody by their name. Coach Ditka knows this. He usually called you an adjective, a not very complimentary one, or a number. Thankfully, he called me number 46. And one day we showed up and he had all this stuff on the board. And he says, you know, this is what we're going to start running next week. And one of the players in the room says, what are you going to call it, buddy? Well, because he named everything after players and numbers, just to make it simple, I played the middle linebacker position. He says, we're going to call this the 46 defense. Now, many of you have heard the 46 defense. Let me tell you, at the very beginning, it wasn't very good. I talked to Eric Hipple. No, it started in like the 80. We started running it a lot in 81. We ran it on a Monday night game against the Detroit Lions. Eric Hipple, wasn't that your best game of all times? 10 touchdowns did you throw that night? I think it was just ridiculous. And, you know, I asked him, you know, afterwards, you know, it's nice to get a chance to talk to him. He thought the 46 defense meant you could score 46 points against that defense. So what I want to say, they called it the 46 defense. It's all on the backs of the 85 Bears because they are the ones that absolutely made it famous. Last story. A couple months ago, I was traveling south in the state of Arizona, and in the middle of the night, I was in Flagstaff, Arizona at 6,500 feet, and I hit ice on the road. I wasn't speeding, I wasn't drinking, I wasn't doing any of that. And the pickup truck that I had turned sideways, and it rolled 8 times. Now, I'm a macho man. I never wear my seatbelt. Don't ask me why 5 minutes before that I put the seatbelt on after I picked up gas. Without that seatbelt, rolling 8 times, I would not be here tonight. You would be giving this in memory of Doug Plank. So I want to thank my wife, who I met 46 years ago. My life. My life would be totally different without her in it. And I just want to say this, you know, it taught me something going through that if you're in a situation where people love you, you're part of a family, how about today telling them you love them, that you care about them, that they mean something to you? Because the one thing I could just remember is when I was rolling in that truck, I was afraid to never see my family again. So I just challenge every one of you, don't wait, reach out tonight, today, right now, and tell the person that you love and cares for you, you love them back. And they are the most important people in your life. Thank you.
If everybody can take a look at the card in front of them, our Fund in Need moment, a small or a large donation later on tonight will make a difference. Please take a look at that card, and if you could fill it out for later on this evening, we'd greatly appreciate it. Now, for those who have attended this event in the past, you're aware of the tremendous impact that this incredible woman has had on so many lives. Her late husband, Hall of Famer John Mackey, was one of the greatest tight ends of all time and had one of the biggest lasting impacts in the history of the league. Please welcome Sylvia Mackey to present the Woman of the Year Award.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. Wow. It is such an honor to be here and to be at another real football banquet. I just love it. And let me tell you, it is such a great honor for me to introduce to you this absolutely phenomenal international award-winning woman who really needs no introduction at all. Dr. Ann McKee is the chief neuropathologist for the Veterans Administration Boston Healthcare System, and she's also the director of the CTE Center of Boston University. She's also absolutely the leading authority for CTE. Now, Chris Borland, who's here, he states that she has not only saved his life, but she has also spared suffering for others with her knowledge, because she has dissected the brains of susceptible individuals and uncovered knowledge that has changed the world and sports. Because most of these individuals are athletes who play contact sports, and many are also military service people. This year, Dr. Ann McKee was selected by Time magazine as one of the 100 most influential people in the whole world. All because of her groundbreaking work. She has totally rocked the sports world and all of our future generations in the sports world. She loves her work because it is her passion, and she is never one who's looking for fame and notoriety. She's only interested in uncovering the truth, the real truth, and nothing but the truth. She's a selfless pioneer who does not accept no for an answer, and as a passionate and compassionate leader, she tirelessly works only to help others. I am absolutely ecstatic to present Dr. Ann McKee with an award that's in my name that I'm so proud of, and I'm so proud of Dr. Ann McKee and everything that she's accomplished. So Ann, come to the stage, please, while we present you with the Sylvia Mackey Woman of the Year Award for 2018.
Dr. Ann McKee is a leading authority on chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE, a degenerative brain disease. CTE is most commonly found in athletes participating in football, boxing, hockey, other contact sports, and military service. Dr. McKee made Time magazine's 2018 list of the 100 most influential people in the world. Her tribute is written by former NFL linebacker Chris Borland, who retired from the sport at the age of 24. Dr. McKee's groundbreaking work on CTE was central to my decision, and she may have saved my life, Borland writes. At the very least, her work has likely spared me much of the suffering we see today among former NFL players. Dr. McKee completed her undergraduate studies at the University of Wisconsin and received her medical degree from the Case Western Reserve School of Medicine. She completed fellowship training in neuropathology at Massachusetts General and then became assistant professor of neuropathology at Harvard Medical School from 1991 to 94. Her path then took her to Boston University School of Medicine, which she became associate professor and then professor of neurology and pathology in 2011. Dr. McKee currently directs the neuropathology service for the New England VA Medical Centers and the brain banks for the Boston University Alzheimer's Disease Center, CTE Center, Framingham Heart Study, and the Chronic Effects of the Neurotrauma Consortium, which are all housed at VA Boston. Chris Nowinski of the Sports Legacy Institute works to collect the brains McKee examines. He said, "She never wanted to be the center of the storm. While people love to take sides on the issue, Dr. McKee is only interested in the truth. And then it's up to the rest of us to decide what to do with that information." When a reporter asked McKee how she sees herself, she laughed while calling the question impossible. She is a person who loves what she does. She loves looking at the brain. She finds it infinitely fascinating. She loves that part of her work which combines her two biggest passions, athletes and brains. When a hardened brain sits in front of her, waiting to be dissected, McKee doesn't view it as her job or future research. She views it as a person whose brain will help unravel the mystery of their life and mind. We are entrusted with this person's legacy, and many times they were famous individuals, for the play of some sport or something. We need to be as accurate as possible about what they were suffering from at the end of their life. Sylvia Mackey chose Dr. Ann McKee as this year's Woman of the Year. Dr. Ann McKee embodies all the qualities of the Woman of the Year. She is passionate about her work and has made a difference in the lives of many. She has been up against some huge obstacles, but hasn't backed down. McKee has 3 children, 4 brothers and sisters, 7 nieces, 3 nephews, and lives in the south end of Boston, Massachusetts, and Ogunquit, Maine.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Ann McKee. Thank you.
I really don't know what to say. This is such a tremendous honor because of Sylvia Mackey, who is my hero. Every day I just want to be more like Sylvia. She is such an amazing woman, and she kicks ass, and that's what I want to do. And it's been a tremendous honor to work on CTE and brain health. I grew up right outside of Green Bay, Wisconsin. I loved the Packers. I adored football players, and it's very ironic that late in my life I began working on the brains of football players, and I just want to keep football players safe. I want to win this war on CTE. I don't ever want to see it again. I want kids to go out and play contact sports and then live long and productive, healthy lives. When a person comes into your brain bank and is dead and is in their 20s and they've got CTE, this is a problem. And it's a problem that I can't stop. I can't rest until I've conquered it. And I have to say, it's been exhausting. But we're going to win this war, and I just want to point out that there are a lot of men in this room, but to the women in this room, we know that we do a lot of work, and we get very little credit. And in this war, we're going to be the reason we win. It's going to be the women that actually win the war on CTE. Thank you.
There is someone missing in this room tonight, but his spirit will always be with us. David Humm, a Las Vegas native and a Raider legend. This is the life of David Humm.
Sincerity, selflessness, perseverance. Only a few of the qualities that made up the man, David Humm.
Looking to pass, turning up.
Consistency, friend, in every sense of the word. Courageous. These are the thoughts that come to mind when I think of David Humm.
He was so darn funny. I mean, he would keep things light, even when things weren't looking so bright. He got along with everybody. Once you knew him, you loved him. You know, he was that kind of person.
Born and raised in Las Vegas, Nevada, Humm went on from setting multiple Big 8 passing records at Nebraska to being drafted by the team that would later become an enormous part of his identity.
In 1975, when he came from Nebraska as an All-American, you know, he was a real easygoing, humble guy and, you know, fit right in.
Absolutely ecstatic to be drafted by the Raiders. Couldn't have been happier. To go to a situation with Kenny Stabler, a lefty out of Alabama, it couldn't have been better.
They were locker roommates. There was a great friendship and great love between them. My dad would talk about Mr. Humm and said he was a lot like himself. He was a great quarterback, but he also was a better person off the field with the hugest heart. Just an incredible man. I think that my dad was super fortunate to be able to work with David.
Throughout his decade-long pro football career, Humm experienced some of the greatest moments in Raiders history firsthand during 2 stints with the team.
Dave was always smiling. He was a positive force on this team.
After hanging up his cleats, number 11 progressed into a role with the Raiders radio game day broadcast team.
It's time to talk a little Raider football. Always great to talk to the Hummer.
I tell you what, just been bored to death, just waiting for football to get here.
Even after MS hit him, he's still, instead of traveling to the games, he had his own studio and his own house.
This is a young team. When you look at this team and the future of it, it really looks great. So I think that we're looking at a great future here.
When David was doing radio, we talked and compared notes, I think, a little bit about life after football. It's well known that David loved his daughter, loved the Raiders, loved football, and he wasn't afraid to show it.
I want to take a moment to remember a gem of a human being,
who really brightened so many people's lives in our community.
I think he's such an example of an incredible man, not only a football player, but a dad, a friend, a brother.
People knew him, loved him. He did a lot of things for the community, people in need. He didn't turn his back on anyone.
He had a great attitude. I can remember him saying that every time he went in the locker room and he saw his equipment hanging up, that he was happy. So that's a good memory of him.
A life lived with profound gratitude. David Humm left an impact on all who knew him. And while he is gone, he will never be forgotten.
It's an honor to welcome the president of the Oakland Raiders, Mr. Mark Bedane.
Thanks, JT. I didn't really know I was going to be following David Humm's video. He was a real special man. He was a great teammate. He was a great father. He was a great brother. He was a great friend. He was a great Raider. And he was really the original Las Vegas Raider. And we'll honor him appropriately when we open the building. There's another gentleman actually in the room that we want to at least call attention to. Another great Raider, Napoleon McCallum. And the project that is exciting so many people in this community is really the result of him. He's in the room. If we could just give him a round of applause, and his wife, Yvonne. Those of you who have been to this event before, you've heard me say this, and when you come next year, you'll hear me say it again. One of Mr. Davis's greatest phrases was, "We owe a debt." And it can be applied to a lot of situations, but he meant it obviously for this industry and for the NFL family. And the Raiders were obviously his family. But we owe a debt to the men and women that made this game what it is. They made it so great. And it's our responsibility to take care of them. So I know Coach Ditka deflected the credit earlier and said that it's our Gridiron greats, but obviously he was a great player and a great coach and a great broadcaster. But this is really his legacy. And what he's doing is amazing, and the amount of money that he's raised to help people that really need it is probably his most important accomplishment. So thank you, Coach. Thank you for letting me be a part of it. Thank you all for being here tonight, and congratulations to all the inductees. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Our next inductee played his entire 14-year career with the Montreal Alouettes and is a member of the Canadian Football Hall of Fame. This is Peter Dalla Riva.
Peter Dalla Riva came to Canada from Treviso, Italy in 1953 and seemed destined to become one of Canada's most popular athletes. He played with the Burlington Braves and Oakville Black Knights of the Junior Football League before joining the Montreal Alouettes. As an Alouette, he was the leading receiver in 1970, 72, 75, 76, and 77. Dalla Riva still holds the club record for touchdown catches, and his famed 74 jersey was retired by the Alouettes in 1981. He was inducted into the Canadian Football Hall of Fame in 1993 and has enjoyed working on the selection committee since 1994. Dalla Riva has remained a highly visible member of the Montreal community. He has devoted countless hours to charitable work, playing in over 30 charity golf tournaments a year and visiting the troops in Kandahar in 2012. He has also served as an Alouettes team ambassador. Coach Marv Levy was the head coach for the Alouettes from 1973 to 1977 and is also a Gridiron Greats board member.
Peter Dalla Riva, a Gridiron Great, you bet. In my 47 years as a head coach, only 5 of them were in the Canadian Football League. But one of the most memorable men I coached during that long career was Peter Dalla Riva, the greatest tight end in the history of the CFL. He was a Canadian Football League version of Mike Ditka. Great ability, great character, and he was a character. Peter Dalla Riva, welcome to the Gridiron Greats.
Dalla Riva is the 8th CFL great named to the Gridiron Greats Hall of Fame, joining Angela Mosca, Hugh Campbell, Matt Dunnigan, Ray Ellegard, Danny McManus, and Leo Ezrins. Dalla Riva still lives in Montreal with his wife Carol, and they have 2 children, daughter Lisa and son Mac. They also enjoy their 3 grandchildren, Emma, Max, and Sophie.
The Gridiron Greats are proud to induct Peter Dalla Riva into their Hall of Fame.
Thank you very much. I'm just an immigrant from Italy, so a lot of things happened to me, and I've been really honored by it and touched by it, my whole family. But first of all, I'd like to congratulate all the other inductees that are getting into the hall today. Excuse me. Also, I'd like to thank the selection committee, Mike Ditka, Shannon, Karen, and especially this morning when I was at the symposium, listening to people speak about what the Hall of Fame does, the Gridiron Hall of Fame, and I was really touched by it, all the work that they've done, and they deserve a lot of credit, and they've worked hard, and they made this weekend for me really, really memorable for myself and my family. I also like to mention a couple of people. Some of the support that we've been getting in the CFL is a fellow that runs the Canadian Football Hall of Fame, and I couldn't stand up if he could, Mark DeNoble. Mark, thank you. And another ex-Gridiron that runs our CFL Alumni Association Executive Director is Leo Ezrins. Thank you. I'd like to touch on Coach Levy. Levy came to us in 73 to 78. He played 5 years with us, and he just turned the whole franchise around. As a matter of fact, he kind of changed the whole league around, just so what, changing the rules. We never had blocking in third down punts. I know you guys play 4 downs. We played 3 downs up there. And he got that changed. And one of the reasons, too, I think we had a fellow by the name of Johnny Rogers. I think a lot of you remember him, a great athlete. And also, 75, Marv Levy started a no-huddle offense. And I know a lot of people thought he brought it to Buffalo with him, though. But he made us, the whole league, to pay attention on special teams, which we never really did before. It was just loosey-goosey, but he made everybody aware of it. So I know Marv's not with us tonight. I know I miss him. I just like to thank him for what he did. I know what he did for me, too. He made me a better ball player, a better person. I'd like to thank my family. I'd like to thank my wife, Carol, and my son, Mark and Lisa, and my brothers and sister. It's a long list, so I won't mention their names. But I just didn't start playing the game until I was really 20. And 2 years later, I'm playing pro ball in Montreal. And the biggest thing it did for me was give me an education. And some of the people I met, and the 2 names that you mentioned before, Mrs. Mackey, John Mackey, and Mr. Ditka, being a tight end. They're the 2 guys that I've always admired and watched when they play. And that's how I picked up some tips sometimes, being a tight end. And that's God honest truth. And what I remember playing this game, I have 3 things that I've always went by. You play this game hard, you play within the rules, and you play to win. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Peter's jersey's over there along with many other legends. If everyone can please take a look at our silent auction items, we'll wrap that up at the end of the program, but there's still several minutes if you want to take a look at another bid. Next up, we bring up a member of the Gridiron Greats Hall of Fame and really one of our greatest advocates from the beginning. He serves on the board of both the Gridiron Greats and After the Impact Fund. He even donated a full game check along with board member Kyle Turley back in 2007. If Kyle Turley can please stand up, we'd like to acknowledge him. Kyle? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Super Bowl champion Matt Burke.
I stand here tonight taking the place of Marv Levy, who couldn't be with us, who had a minor accident. He's doing great, but I'm here to present the 2018 Marv Levy Impact Award to Mr. Herschel Walker.
Herschel Walker was born March 3rd, 1962, and grew up in Wrightsville, Georgia. At the University of Georgia, Walker set an NCAA freshman rushing record and helped capture the National Collegiate Football title. He earned consensus All-American honors 3 consecutive years, set 10 NCAA records, 15 Southeast Conference records, 30 Georgia all-time records, and capped a sensational college career by earning the 1982 Heisman Trophy in his junior year. In 1983, Walker gave up his final year of collegiate eligibility and turned professional, joining the New Jersey Generals of the United States Football League. Walker dominated the league, earning Most Valuable Player honors and setting the single-season pro football rushing record of 2,411 yards. After his first pro season, he went back and finished his Bachelor of Science degree in Criminal Justice at the University of Georgia. Walker joined the Dallas Cowboys in 1986, where he led the entire NFL in rushing and earned All-Pro honors. He moved to the Minnesota Vikings as starting running back in 1989, then went on to join the Philadelphia Eagles in 1992. Walker returned to the Dallas Cowboys in 1996 to finish his illustrious career. Herschel Walker retired from the NFL in 1997 as one of the top running backs in the pros. He gained more yards than anyone in professional football history, counting his seasons in both the NFL and USFL. In 2002, he was voted into the Collegiate Football Hall of Fame and was selected as the second greatest player in college football history, just behind the legendary Red Grange.
First of all, Herschel, I want to congratulate you on being inducted in the Gridiron Greats Hall of Fame, and also receiving the Marv Levy Impact Award. You know, I was fortunate enough to coach you, for a short period of time. We should have had you when you came right out of college, because you were a great college player, a great pro player. The thing that impressed me was you were always willing to do whatever it took, to be successful, and you've done that throughout your life. And that's the reason you're going to be successful at whatever you undertake to do. So, congratulations to you, Herschel.
In 2008, Simon & Schuster published Walker's memoir, Breaking Free, My Life with Dissociative Identity Disorder. Following the release of his memoir, Herschel became a spokesperson for mental health and addiction treatment for military service members. Since 2008, Herschel has visited more than 158 military installations and shared his story to more than 141,000 service members and families, including Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and Coast Guard.
Herschel, thank you so much for all the work that you've done to raise awareness for the mental health issues facing our veterans and their families. You have been a tremendous asset in this fight to regain and empower our veterans who have given so much for this country. We cannot thank you enough for the work that you've done. We are honored to present to you tonight the Marv Levy Impact Award. We cannot think of a man that embodies what this award stands for any more so than you.
I'd like to congratulate Herschel Walker for being this year's awardee for the Marv Levy Impact Award. Herschel Walker represents all the best of this sport and the best of public service, and I can think of no one better to win the award this year. Thanks, Herschel, and congratulations.
He has also made individual visits to warriors hospitalized after being wounded in battle. Herschel's message to service members and their families is simple. There's no shame in getting help. I did.
The Gridiron Greats are proud to induct Herschel Walker into their Hall of Fame.
Coveted award, the very well-deserved recipient, Herschel Walker. What a career he has had, both on and off the field. Winner of the Heisman Trophy in college, set 10 NCAA records during his storied career. Went on to a remarkable career in the National Football League, mostly his days with the Dallas Cowboys. What a teammate he was. What a performer he was. His career ended. He went on to get his degree in criminal law from the University of Georgia. He went on to make over 158 visits to troops around the world and to wounded warriors. Athlete, scholar, citizen, patriot, it is my privilege. Welcome to the Gridiron Greats to present Herschel Walker.
First of all, I always acknowledge my Lord Jesus Christ, because he said if you don't acknowledge him, he's not going to acknowledge you. And when I come knocking on him to let me in, guys, I'm very, very truly honored and a little bit embarrassed. And I want to thank Coach Dicker, Coach Reeves, Karen, and Shannon, because it is hard to accept an award for doing something you're supposed to do. Because we feel that God made this world for us, but no, he made it for him. We're just supposed to help him. And I started out, a lot of you don't know this, but I really didn't like football. The only reason I played football is I didn't want to wash dishes as a little kid. And they talk about me about in 1999, I was diagnosed as having DID, dissociative identity disorder. So I also want to give knowledge to all the spouses, the kids, because a lot of the things that they see, we don't see that their spouses are going through. And if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be doing the things that we do. So I want to thank Julie for being with me all this time, for putting up with me. And I've always have learned from my parents that whenever you get knocked down, you get up. I remember watching a TV show, The Predator in New York. The Predator in New York has Danny Glover in it, not Morgan Freeman, because they only use one old black actor in a movie, and this is the one that they got Danny Glover in. But Danny Glover is no, he's not in New York, he's in California, but Danny Glover is in California, a detective. And he happened to be going around California trying to figure out why is all these murders are happening in California, because the predator is killing everybody. And what was so amazing about this movie, at the end of the movie, which he made it to the end, normally a black man get killed early, and Danny Glover made it to the end, so I'm thinking that Tyler Perry filmed this movie, but found out he didn't. But Danny Glover makes it to the end, but they meet up with the predator in this small little room. And what was so amazing is the predator, if you know anything about him, he's about 7 feet tall, has all these dreadlocks, and he's a bad dude. But Danny Glover gets in this fight with the predator. And he's fighting, and he don't think he can take it because he's bleeding and he's sweating, and he don't think he can make it. But all of a sudden, he grabbed this blade from this wall and kills the predator. And I'm going, crap, some black man did film this movie, because I never seen anyone kill a predator but an alien, but that's a different movie. But anyway, as he kills the predator, he takes his blade as he's sweating and bleeding and tired, and lays the blade against the wall, and he kneels and he sits. And as he's sitting there, music starts to happen. And when music happens in a movie, something is about to happen. So another predator appears from the wall, and then another one, and then another one, and all of a sudden there's 6 of them in the room with one Danny Glover. But Danny Glover did something so powerful that you always got to do in life. That old black man jumped to his feet, and he grabbed that blade, and he said, "Who's next in line?" And I said, guys, that's the way life is all the time. And Coach Dick mentioned it, that this game of football is a great game. And it has been wonderful for my family. It's been wonderful for a lot of people's family, but sometimes it has some bad things to it. But what we got to do is we got to keep getting up when we get knocked down. And know from the great doctor, Ric Flair, that we're all twisting, steal, and sex appeal. God bless you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Herschel. Tonight we have three powerful women who we'd like to join us on stage along with family members from Gridiron Greats and After the Impact Fund. Samantha Pyle Buono, Courtney Humm, and Liz Nicholson Sullivan. Liz will lead the Fund in Need portion of our program tonight. Ladies, please come to the stage.
Tissues. I'm Samantha Pyle Buono, and at this time I'd like to invite the women in the room who are wives, daughters, and caretakers of our veterans and athletes to stand and join us on the stage. We'd like to take a moment to honor you. If you would make your way up, please. Here's the crew. My father was Mike Pyle, who played center for the Chicago Bears in the 1960s with Coach Ditka. When he retired after 9 seasons, we expected a future filled with orthopedic issues and joint replacements. We did not expect to end up spending decades battling a progressing brain injury, alone and in fear, until he finally passed away with stage 4 CTE. We were often ashamed of what was happening in our home, and we certainly didn't want to talk to anybody about it. The disturbing behaviors that he was exhibiting at home, his isolation, his anger, his rage. So as my dad drew further and further into himself, we isolated ourselves as well. It wasn't until the last couple years of his life that we started to share our private experiences with a few trusted others, and then a few more. And what happened was we learned that we weren't the only ones, that there were many other families from the NFL community dealing with the same challenges as we were. As we were gaining this knowledge, so were Gridiron Greats and After the Impact. While they were busy assisting veterans and retired professional athletes, they were discovering the same thing. For every veteran or athlete in dire need of help, there was a caretaker, usually a spouse or a daughter, desperately trying to hold their lives together, to find support and navigate through the labyrinth of resources and benefits available to their spouse or father. They recognized the great need to create a space where women could find all of the information they needed to seek out care for their loved one and themselves in one online location, that it was crucial for wives and daughters to have a safe environment to share their personal stories without judgment or fear of exposing their family's private struggles. a place where they would finally know that they are not alone, that there are other families who have experienced or were experiencing the same problems and setbacks that they were, and that there were other women out there who truly understand and are ready to reach out to help and lift them up, or right now are in desperate need of being lifted up themselves. And so they created the Family Impact Forum. Ooh, sorry, very nervous. My family had nothing of its kind when we were figuring out how to cope with my dad's illness. We fought to find our own way through each new turn that his life after football had in store for us. Gridiron Greats and After the Impact have created a game changer with their family forum. And it is so important that we be able to continue to fund and expand our programs. It is imperative that we meet the needs of our veterans and our retired athletes and their families, so that the caretakers on this stage never feel isolated or ashamed again. I am so honored to be a part of this sisterhood, where I have met some of the most courageous, loving, and inspirational women that I am lucky enough to call peers and friends. I feel so blessed to be able to take a terrible time in our family's life and try to use what we learned to help others, and to have a place where I can learn from or cry on the shoulder of, and believe me, I have, someone else who truly understands our community. Most of all, I am forever grateful for the opportunity to have landed with my dad's dear friend, whom I've known all my life, Mike Ditka. It is not lost on me that in life, you end up where you're supposed to be. My dad was the ultimate team member who always went out of his way to do for others. It makes me smile to think that he probably had a little something to do with the fact that Shannon Jordan, who I didn't even know at the time, was one of the first phone calls that I received on the day that he died, eventually giving me an opportunity to join Coach's team, where I know my dad would want me to be, where I can be a part of something bigger than what we went through, show my dad that all was not lost, hopefully make him proud, and carry on his legacy. Thank you, and I love and appreciate every single one of you. At this time, it is my honor to introduce to you the daughter of David Humm, Courtney.
Oh, you can leave out there. I'm normally standing behind the wheelchairs, so I don't have to be talking. Oh, I don't know. Okay, so I want to thank everyone for their love and support. I've written this speech like 100 times, and now I have no recollection of what I was going to say at all. But my dad was always my most important person in my life, and I can sit here and talk your ear off about how much I love him and how much he means to me. And I love that everyone shares my love for, not as much as I love him, but my dad, sorry. I have to thank the Raiders, Mark Davis, Mark Bedane, and I know you guys hate to be thanked, so I have to do it up here. Cheryl Nichols, you guys have always been there for my dad and me, and especially when he got sick, that's when you guys really rallied, and I never realized how much I was a part of the family, and so I want to say thank you. I think that sometimes he loved the Raiders more than he loved me. But you guys was part of the reason my dad stayed alive as long as he did. So thank you very much. And with my dad getting sick, there at the very end, he kept such a strong front that he never let anyone know how bad it really was getting. and I didn't want to take that away from him, and so I didn't really know what to do. And Gridiron Greats not only helped my dad when we were going through struggles and helped him with our health insurance because it was almost $1,000 a month. They helped with Medicare medical costs, and just he doesn't like to ask for help. And I know that you guys made it a lot easier, and he fell in love with you guys, and I thank you for Gridiron Greats for after the impact is started around the time that my dad was getting sick, and I don't like to ask for help either, but I got invited to the forum, and I was like, I don't know why I was invited to the forum. I'm not like a caretaker, and they pointed out to me that I was and helped me find resources for my dad and support for me throughout the entire thing, calling me, making sure that I was okay, not just like my father, making sure that the list goes on, and my dad loved to help people, so, and so I'm extremely honored that you guys reached out to me for the opportunity to honor my father by saying words and hopefully helping with sharing my story on how impactful you guys really are, because with it being, if you don't want anyone to know that you need help, then they are just there, and it's this bond, this instant family that you don't get very often. And they would stay, Shannon and Sam stayed up till midnight one night with me when I had to make some hard decisions and I didn't know who else to turn to, and I just will forever be thankful for you guys. And I want to honor my dad for the rest of my life, and I know that. Okay. Sorry. You're good. So I'm going to say thank you.
Applause for all the females and the ladies and the wives and daughters and caretakers. Well, hello everybody. That is a tough act to follow. So first of all, I want to say thanks very much to Samantha and Courtney. It's very difficult to get up here on stage and talk about such personal and very tragic things that happen. My name is Liz Nicholson Sullivan, and I am extremely honored to stand on this stage tonight. So let me put my readers on before we do the fund a need, which is very important for funding. So greetings and thanks to all our sponsors and guests here tonight. And a big congratulations to the honorees, especially Dr. Ann McKee, for all your tireless work on behalf of sick men and their families. So thank you very much. And most of all, of course, I would like to give a big thanks and a big shout out, which is why we're here tonight, to Coach Ditka and to Shannon Jordan for all of your tireless work. If it weren't for Coach Ditka and Shannon, we wouldn't be here tonight. So again, a big round of applause for them. Also, I wanted to thank Tamara Dad Allen, who, after the Impact Fund. So tonight, we're going to be raising money, so please, this is my first day on the job as the volunteer fundraiser, so don't get me fired. So we got to raise a lot of money tonight. So I will be brief, but I must open by stating that the most important aspect of all of your work and collaboration, Coach and Shannon, is that you have both saved a lot of lives and given dignity and hope back to those who've lost their way. It's at this juncture of the evening we get to the crux of what it means to be a not-for-profit organization in the business of doing critical life-saving work. We can only sustain ourselves with the financial support and generosity of the Gridiron Great and After the Impact Fund family, which is all of you. So again, my name is Liz Nicholson Sullivan, and as the wife of a sick former NFL player, I'm proud and fortunate to be a part of the amazing and necessary work of Gridiron Greats. And as a personal aside, I can tell you that as many of these women that were just bravely here up on the stage with me, my husband, Jerry Sullivan, who he's got 9 vested years in the NFL. These are things that you know when you're a wife, because every vested year counts toward their pension. There's only one group in this country that I would ever call and have the confidence could not only help me, but would keep my information private and confidential and see it through till the end, and that is Gridiron Greats and After the Impact Fund. So again, every woman in here who's been touched by it knows that they are top-notch and the best. So there are multiple facets and qualities which put Gridiron Greats in a category all its own and set it apart from the other services or entities utilized by retirees. And as I just mentioned, many of you in this room have experienced those. But as all of us know, post-NFL life can be daunting and difficult to navigate at best, and heartbreaking and life-altering at worst. Add a neurodegenerative illness into the mix, and you've got a recipe for devastation and disaster. But that's where we come in. That's what we do best. Whether it be a newly retired player in need of accessing dental benefits, a daughter needing help with an application for the Plan of 88, or a desperate wife in need of immediate assistance due to her husband's spiraling mental health issues, Gridiron Greats and After the Impact Fund have those resources. We have the people who've been there and done that. And when I say that, all of the women that stood behind me tonight, and Courtney and Samantha and everybody else involved, that is who the backbone of Gridiron Greats and After the Impact Fund is. So again, another round of applause for them before we start my Fund and Need job here. So one last thought. After years of working one-on-one with struggling players and their families and vetting and navigating various programs, we've developed best practice guidelines that are second to none. And as was mentioned last year, all on a not-for-profit shoestring budget. Gridiron Greats and After the Impact Fund provides a big picture, long-term solution to the needs of the retired player and his family. Many times, our services provide that ray of hope that can be the difference between life and death, and I think a lot of us in here know that. Gridiron Greats is always here for us, and it's for that very reason that I and the ladies in this room stand before you tonight, and we'd like to show our gratitude and appreciation to them. So won't you please join us, and I'm going to start with the Fund and Need, and I can't really see the audience too well, so I think the women in the crowd are going to come around and get your pledge cards. So, if you'll excuse me, I forgot my notes, so I'm going to grab my phone. Okay, so again, this is my first day on the job, so everybody, let's raise some money tonight, okay? Let's get excited and raise some money. And I do this for a living in politics, and I know you laborers are here. I'm a good Democrat, but don't tell anyone else that's a Republican in the room. Sorry, Coach. But anyway, okay, so here we go. So first of all, are all the ladies ready to get the pledge cards once I go with the bidding? See you out there? Okay, great. So what we're going to do is we're going to have incremental bidding, and we're going to start at the level of $5,000. And I know there's a lot of people in this room that can take out their checkbook, take out their credit card. I guess we take cash too. Most operations aren't cash, but we probably take cash too. And I think that they're going to be taking all the credit card information and checks in the back. So again, I want to start by starting at the highest increment of $5,000. So Your $5,000 contribution could cover anywhere between 2 to 6 months of lodging and or transitional living arrangements for one player in need, depending on where in the country that player lives. So, we're going to start now, so everyone's got to get excited here. So I'm going to call to raise. Let's all raise our hands so we can assist multiple retired players in need. So, help me at least, we're looking for at least maybe, this is high reaching at first, 22 hands at $5,000. So let's start with the bidding. Anybody, $5,000? 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. Oh, we've got a bidder over there. Thank you very much. $5,000, $5,000. Please, guys, remember this. Oh, we've got someone right there. Thank you very much. A round of applause for her. We've got someone in the back at $5,000. Thank you very much. What about the left side of the room? Here, come on, left side of the room. You guys got to go with $5,000, $5,000, 5,000, 5,000. Come on, I'm going to call it a few more times. I'm not a real auctioneer, but I'll play one tonight. $5,000. Anybody, 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 anybody. Well, I tell you what, I am going to be up on stage. I'm pledging $5,000 tonight. I'm pledging. So anybody else want to join me in pledging $5,000 tonight? Anybody want to join me? Janet, is that you pledging or are you holding up a card? Okay, 5,000. We've got other 5,000s in the room. Oh, we've got one back here. Thank you very much. Thanks, Irene. Thank you very much for your 5,000. So anybody else before we close 5,000 and go to the lesser amount of 2,500? Anybody, anybody? Did I miss anybody, girls? Okay. All right, so the next amount that we're going to do is $2,500. Your $2,500 would help one player with 6 months of medical and pharmaceutical services currently not covered by insurance or pending assistance from the league. As you all know, so many of us fall into that black hole of we aren't getting insurance approvals and we are maybe waiting for a benefit to be approved by the league, and players are desperate for this. So please, this is a big problem for our men as they await insurance approvals or league assistance. Let's ensure our 30-plus men in need that they will be able to afford their medication. So we're going to start with $2,500. Can I see a show of hands for $2,500? 2,500, anybody in the crowd? 2,500, 2,500. Here, we've got one up here, Tricia, right here. Thank you very much. I need to see more hands, $2,500. It's hard for me to see, but I know you girls will spot them out there. Show your hand for $2,500 to help a man in need. Anybody, $2,500. Now, I know we're going to get a lot more in the thousands. So $2,500, anybody else? Okay, all right. So, we are going to go to $1,000. Thank you again, sir, for your contribution. Very generous. Thank you. A round of applause for him, please. Okay, here's one I know that we can all do. Like, I'll just stop shopping at TJ Maxx for a year for my $1,000. $1,000 description. This is for utilities. It seems basic to all of us, but so many of our warriors are too proud to ask. Your $1,000 contribution could cover one man's phone and electric for a year. Many times they get lodging, but we forget about living expenses. So I'd like a call to raise $1,000, a show of hands. So help us keep the lights on and allow these men to be heard with the means to communicate. We need a bunch of hands raised now for $1,000. So can we start 1,000? We've got someone over there. Thank you very much. One of the girls get your card. $1,000 over on the left side of the room. Anybody on this side of the room, raise your hand for 1,000. We got $1,000. Thank you, sir. $1,000 over there. Do we have 1,000 in the back? Anybody in the back? Oh, we've got 1,000. Thank you very much. Thank you. I think that's Kyle Turley there. Thank you very much. Please, anybody else $1,000? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. For me, the auctioneer, my first day on the job, please raise your hand. Okay, $1,000. Anybody in the back? I think we've got someone back there. If you guys want to get the cards, a round of applause for everybody for 1,000. And do we have anybody else at $1,000? Okay, so we are going to go to $500. So this is, again, an increment I think we can all meet. Again, the $500, if we didn't get a lot of 1,000s, would be for utilities and other lodging expenses for our warriors who are too proud to ask if we could help them. A show of hands for 500. A show of hands for 5. Oh, we've got a bunch of them. Okay. Here we've got, thank you, George. Thank you, Eric Hipple. We've got another 500 there, girls. So we've got a bunch of folks over here on the right-hand side as well. Thank you, guys. That looks like some guys over at the laborers table. Thank you very much. So we've got a round of applause for a lot of the people raising their hands right now. More $500. Do we have some over here? And I think in the back, we've got some $500 increments back there. So again, a big show of hands. Anyone at a $500 contribution? Okay, did I miss anyone, girls? You got it? And again, remember, you can do credit cards, checks, cash, anything you'd like. And again, remember, these are for the needs of players that otherwise can't afford this. So now we're going to go to an easier increment. I know we'll see a big showing of hands for $250. So anybody who wants to contribute $250, we'll start on the left side of the room. Anybody $250? All right, we've got a bunch of folks at this table over here for $250. Round of applause for them. All right, the left side of the room in the back. Anybody in the back for $250? Raise your hand so we can see it. Okay, middle of the room, anybody in the middle of the room for $250, raise your hand, please. I think we've got some people in the back, so a round of applause for that crew over on that side of the room. How about the middle of the room? Anybody in the middle of the room for $250? Raise your hand if you can do $250 tonight. And actually, even if you don't have your checkbook with you or a credit card, we'll take it later. We always take the money. So how about on this side of the room? Anybody $250? Anybody on the right side? Oh, we've got some. Irene, thank you very much. Okay. A round of applause for the folks at this table here. Okay, anybody else for $250? Okay, so now I know that we're going to the lowest amount, but again, people, every little bit counts. And what I like to say is if you're a guest at a table or you just want to help one of these warriors, every penny counts and every penny helps a guy in need, again, who are too proud to ask. So I'm going to go around the room again. If you could all raise your hands, if you can do $100 tonight or if you can do it anytime in the near future. We've got folks at the back table here. Actually, Sam, we've got some folks in the middle there with 100. We've got a bunch of people behind Eric Hippel's table here for $100. And we've got several folks, thank you very much, Stacy, on the left-hand side of the room. So please see one of the girls and you can fill out the information there. We have some more folks on the right-hand side. How about a big round of applause, first of all, for everybody raising their hand, being very kind. Thank you to this table. Chie, you've got some people back there, okay. Guys, thanks in the back there for your $100 contribution. We're going to do one last incremental round, and I do like to do this. Again, any amount counts. So anybody willing to write a check or a contribution for anything under $100, under 100, it could be 50, 75, 25, because every little bit counts. And I know there was a silent auction and things like that tonight. But again, can we see hands up for anybody wishing to do $75 or $50 tonight? Anybody for $75 or $50? Anybody in the room? We've got some folks there in the back. Thank you. A round of applause for them. Thank you. And again, the women that are around collecting these, this information, I want you to thank them too, because they are the whole reason that we're here tonight. So again, another hand up for anybody else. JT, are we done? Okay, first of all, thank you very much, everybody. And again, if anybody wants to make a contribution, you know where we are. And again, I want to thank Coach Ditka and Shannon for this wonderful night. And thank you, JT. Thank you. Thanks for being so nice to me on my first try.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Now we're back to our inductions. Our next recipient was one of the most dominant guards of his era, and we would love to see him in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. This is Ed White.
Born in La Mesa, California, Ed graduated from Indio High School in Indio, California. In college, White played for the University of California, Berkeley Golden Bears from 1966 to 68 as a lineman and was selected as an All-American in 1968. White began his professional football career with the Minnesota Vikings after being drafted in the second round of the 1969 NFL Draft. He was one of 11 players to have played in all 4 Viking Super Bowl appearances between 1969 and 1976, and is listed as one of the 50 greatest Minnesota Vikings. Before the 1978 season, he was traded to the San Diego Chargers, with whom he played until 1985 when he retired after 17 years, 241 games, and was selected to the Pro Bowl 4 times. Following his retirement, he was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame, University of California Hall of Fame, Breitbart Hall of Fame, East-West Shrine Game Hall of Fame, and the San Diego Charger Hall of Fame. Indio High School named their football field Ed White Stadium in honor of White. Ed is also a member of the Pac-12 Century Team. Charger quarterback Dan Fouts has been vocal about endorsing White for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. When he retired, nobody had played in more games as an offensive lineman than White. They don't have many statistics for offensive linemen other than Pro Bowls and Super Bowls, but Ed would be a leader. After retiring in 1986, White coached for several years, both in the NFL with the Chargers and Rams and in college, Cal Berkeley and San Diego State, but left in 2004 to devote himself full-time to his art and family. Kansas City Chiefs and San Diego State alumni offensive tackle Kyle Turley has called White the best coach he'd ever had.
So all I had to do was ever say Ed White. When I got to San Diego State, Ed White was not my coach. I became an offensive lineman because of Ed White, and it shaped my career. Everything I have in this room, I owe to Ed White. When I got to the National Football League, no one questioned anything. They just said that guy was coached by Ed White. I'm proud to call you not just a coach though, brother. You've been the most influential person in my life. I can't thank you enough. Folks there need to understand why I got involved with the Gridiron Greats. I got involved because of Ed White, because I had a constant reminder of where this game came from, and it was important to me that I honored that. It was Ed White who told me to donate that check. There was a lot of people that were starting to raise their voices, and there was groups being organized, and Ed White was a key factor in helping me and guide me towards the right group that could get this done, and that's why we're all here. I hope you're happy, brother. Congratulations. Look what you did, and all these other great players. It's been an honor to be coached by one of the greatest ever, but it's a bigger honor to call you a brother, a friend, a father. I love you, buddy. Congratulations. Go Aztecs.
White and his wife of 50 years, Joanne, reside in Julian, California, and have two sons, Randall and Tim. Their daughter, Amy, passed away in 1997, 3.5 years after suffering a head injury. The Whites also have 4 grandchildren, Ty, Ethan, Olivia, and Brody. White hopes to be a patriarch for future generations through his passion for art. You can see his incredible work at www.edwhiteart.com.
The Gridiron Greats are proud to induct Ed White into their Hall of Fame.
Thank you. After 17 years, I took a breath and I went, what the heck am I doing? And the reason is the guys in this room, my teammates, my friends I've made over the years, it's all about the brothers. That's why I am so passionate about the Gridiron Greats and what Mike Ditkus has started. Shannon and Karen continue, and their crew continue to help players. And it's real, and it's great. The connection that football has to me, it's Ron Urie, my first roommate, 9 years, my roommate with the Vikings. He's like an older brother, nagging me about everything. Yes, I ordered the essential oils. I'll be using them. Thank you, brother. I love you. Kyle, to the players I've coached, Kyle Turley, phenomenal person to come to the Gridiron Greats at a time where they were just starting, and to help them by donating a game check. That's a very significant thing to do, and not very many people could do that and would do that, and it's fantastic. And both Ron and Kyle, those guys are always there for me, and I'm always there for them, and I love you too, brother. And that's the reason that I think this is so important, is this is about guys that when the lights dim and the road starts getting a little crooked, a transition that you go through after a life of football and those lights dim is pretty radical. And a lot of guys don't make it. As a coach, Professionally, I had several guys that ended up in their cars with different kinds of problems we don't need to go into, but the Gridiron Greats was there. I mean, no questions, they helped them. And in the long run, they all pulled out of it, and they've helped hundreds, and hopefully they'll help thousands of people. In my life now, I'm suffering from one of the brain issues, and they're there. Shannon and her crew are there for Joanne and I, and helping us do the protocol that we're going to need as we go down this windy road. And I just appreciate Mike Ditka and what he started, and I appreciate everybody that came here to continue his mission. Thank you for being here and helping.
The final induction of this evening is a Pro Football Hall of Famer who not only had one of the greatest careers in the history of the NFL, but has also become one of the most highly regarded sports broadcasters on the air today. This is Howie Long.
Howie Long was a second-round pick of the Oakland Raiders in the 1981 NFL Draft and the 48th player selected overall. An all-around athlete, he was a basketball and track star in high school as well as the Northern Collegiate Boxing Champion. A 4-year letterman at Villanova, he was the MVP in the 1980 Blue-Gray game. Long joined the Raiders 1 year after the team won Super Bowl 15. 3 years later, in 1983, the 6'5", 268-pound defensive end helped the team capture another Super Bowl title with a 38-9 win over the Washington Redskins in Super Bowl 18. His 5-tackle performance in that game capped off a season that saw him record a career-high 13 sacks, including 5 in one game against the Redskins. The following season, he recorded 58 tackles, 12 sacks, and 9 passes defended, and was named the NFL Defensive Lineman of the Year by the NFL Alumni Association. Long moved into a starting role with the Raiders, beginning in the 5th game of the strike-shortened 1982 season. He went on to be selected to 8 Pro Bowls, the first following the 1983 season.
Howie Long never thought he was that good. He always was trying to prove that he was.
Fast, strong, and explosive off the ball, he was just the second Raider defensive lineman to make a Pro Bowl. A first or second team All-Pro choice in 1983, 84, 85, 86, and 89. He was also named All-AFC 4 times. In 1985, the hard-playing defensive end accounted for 10 quarterback sacks, with at least 1 in 8 games. As a result, he was selected as Raider Club Defensive Lineman of the Year by his teammates. Although he missed much of the 1988 season due to injury, he still managed to record 3 sacks and intercept the first pass of his career, which he returned 73 yards in a game against the Houston Oilers. During his 13-year career, Long, a member of the NFL's All-Decade Team of the 1980s, recorded 84 career sacks, not including 7.5 sacks in 1981, before the sack was an official NFL statistic.
Hey Dad, just wanted to congratulate you on being inducted into Mike Ditka's Gridiron Great Hall of Fame class of 2018. It's a tremendous honor, well-deserved, both on and off the field. Also wanted to congratulate everyone else who got honored today. It's, like I said, a tremendous accomplishment and well-deserved to all of you. Just wanted to leave you with one last thing. Go Raiders. All right, have a great day.
Hey, Dad, congratulations on your induction to the Gridiron Greats Hall of Fame. It brings me great joy and honor to be able to wear your number every day and try to carry on your legacy in the NFL. Thank you to Mike Ditka for making this happen, and my mom for supporting my dad at all times. As always, bear down, but you know I got to bleed silver and black, baby.
Hey, Dad, congratulations on making this year's Gridiron Greats Hall of Fame. I think it's an amazing honor. You certainly deserve it, and you can add it to your long list of accomplishments. I want to personally thank Mike Ditka, an amazing football player and a great man, for helping my dad get in. Dad, enjoy it. You're a hero to me. You're a hero to a lot of people. You inspire me on a daily basis, not just with your play on the field and your career that you put together, but with the man you are. So thank you and enjoy your day.
Howie has been an analyst with Fox Sports NFL Sunday since 1994. He and his wife Diane have 3 sons, Chris, Kyle, and Howard Jr. Howie and Diane currently reside in Virginia.
The Gridiron Greats are proud to induct Howie Long into their Hall of Fame.
You know, it's a good night when you get the opportunity to run into some old teammates, good friends that you haven't seen for a number of years. You have the opportunity to laugh a little bit, cry a little bit, and be inspired. If you haven't done those things tonight, you don't have a pulse. The remarkable work that this group does for so many of the players who really were the foundation of our league. And to put it in perspective, I'm 58 years old. My rookie year, I made 38 grand. My check was a little over $1,000 a week. 2 of my sons that are on that video, I could approach for low-interest loans who are playing now, which is great. I don't begrudge that. But I think it's important to remember the men that really built our league. I am truly honored to be recognized by the Gridiron Greats Foundation. The work that they're doing is, as I mentioned, inspiring. I know that Mark Davis and the Raiders are on board with supporting the cause, and as a matter of fact, I think one of your newest board members, Mark Bedane, the president of the Raiders, who just went on and on and on when we first talked about the Gridiron Greats a couple of months ago when he mentioned this to me, what a great organization it was, how great the people were, and it's obvious tonight seeing all the support that Mike gets from it. It takes a village, and to see the wives and the daughters up here on stage was very emotional. Inspiring. I think that Mike, who is a remarkable guy, Mike was great at everything he's ever done. Mike was a great player. He's a Hall of Fame tight end. Mike was a Super Bowl champion coach. Mike was a great broadcaster. A lot to be proud of. But as great as Mike has been when it's all said and done, I think the work that he's done since 2008 and continues to do with this foundation might end up being the thing that he could be most proud of. I think it's pretty remarkable. I, for one, have been inspired by this evening. I want to congratulate my fellow inductees and honorees, and I would be remiss if I didn't take a minute to talk about the man that this organization has chosen to pay tribute to this evening, David Humm. I had the good fortune of playing with Dave in the early part of my career. Watching the way he handled himself, the way he treated everyone that he came in contact with, regardless of their status on the team or the organization. In reflecting back on that time as a young player, watching Dave's interactions, I recall thinking to myself at the time, you know, that's the kind of teammate I want to be, and that's the kind of guy I want to be. I played with a lot of great players who had major impacts on my career. Dave, when I'm looking back on it, is the kind of man and a teammate that I think everyone should be fortunate enough to have played with. And I'm preaching to the choir for the people who in Las Vegas who know Dave, who knew Dave, and know what kind of person he was. He was a remarkable guy. So I, for one, have been inspired by the evening, and I know I think I can echo the thoughts of many of the former players who are here tonight. And I think it's important that, as I mentioned, we have to take care of the men who built the game that we see on television today. That is so successful, and that's important. Thank you. It's been a long evening, I know, and I know that the Gridiron Greats appreciates everyone in this room that's come to support the organization tonight. Thank you. Travel safe.
Can all of our inductees Can all of our inductees tonight in the Hall of Fame please come to the stage for a photo, please? Ladies and gentlemen, also our silent auction is closed. Our silent auction is closed. Everybody in the room, if you'd like a great photo op, come up in front of the stage and take one with all of our inductees.